Great. So, hi everyone again. um, so, um, right now, I will talk about a bit about my personal perspective on EDI. Um, I have heard also the other personal perspectives of today, and yeah, I'm very humbled to be upon them today. And it's really interesting to see how different people feel about their experiences throughout their careers, hear about their own careers. Um, I was thinking a lot about how to approach the topic because, as we discussed a few, in the previous minutes, it's so difficult to tackle it. It's from different perspectives, and so what I thought of doing is focusing on things that I think worked for me to achieve things. So things that I felt that because I didn't feel different or because I didn't I don't belong somewhere, I do belong somewhere, I didn't have that feeling. I think that helped me achieve things. So I will try and focus on that positive aspect as much as possible. Um, so the first thing that I was thinking is EDI where? So in my opinion, from my work at least, I think that I would see EDI in its research, in the research itself. So for example, there I would see it from maybe a social sciences perspective, on the actual, research that you do on the topics that you tackle. So that's, in my opinion, one aspect where I could see EDI. Or for example, if we conduct a research that you need to to go and have a survey on people in that sense, perhaps. The other aspect of it, in my opinion, is in the teams we're part of, but not only part of only in a project. It could be that in the team, in a wider group you're part of. So I think that as an individual, I also feel there it's another environment where we should need to be included, to feel that it's an inclusive environment in at least my own personal life and career. I think that that's very important, to be in teams where you feel this way. And then I think in the eye, it's also in our own actions, reactions, for others and us as well. And I'll say why I'm saying that because I think that many times I myself, for example, have felt of not necessarily belonging somewhere because of a reaction of a person, or something they said. And so I think that that's also important, to feel that you're included, to feel that you're part of the team you're in, the career you're in, to feel that these are the shoes you should be wearing. Um, and mainly, I would focus, I think, on these two today. And what I'm thinking of doing is walking through some an outline of some steps that I've taken, and maybe pointing to those that I think I achieved because I felt supported and that I can do them. And I think I wouldn't have if I would have um, stayed in the thought that that's not for me, or feeling indeed that I don't belong here. And that I think that that's why I made those steps. Starting, I think, from school year until today, I think that from a young age it's important to feel proud of who you are, no matter if you're different, no matter if you're not in a typical um, take of characteristics. You don't take necessarily typical characteristics. So I think that's something that's very important, as well, as I mentioned earlier, is feeling that it's okay the way you are from the beginning, from a very young age as well. Going a bit to my career, I did my undergraduate degree. It was in Greece, so it was in the electrical and computer engineering department. For example, that is, unfortunately, being an engineer, having my characteristics, being a woman, it was not typical, but I didn't mind. I just thought that's what I want to do and that's what I will do. And I think that that's important. That's very important, to not feel that barrier. I have felt many times not necessarily belonging somewhere, heard comments. I've been through that, but I think the important bit is to try and not listen to that, basically, because you will listen to it, you will hear it. But I think it's important to not pay attention, to just move on. You will do whatever you want to do. Just go for it. Just you will hear it, but don't pay attention. The other thing that after that I did my PhD. That was in the power systems group at Newcastle University. I feel that that was the time that I felt I started realizing a lot more about EDI. Maybe it's because I went to a new country for me, because I grew up in Greece, but now I'm in the UK. So automatically, I'm also engaging with a group of different people. I am in a different country personally. So it could also be that. But also that there was a lot more, at least in that stage of my career, a lot more talking about EDI and awareness. And I think that awareness is very important, to be honest, because in my opinion, it can bring everyone in the same room, at least try to understand the same thing. So, so this was important. Things that I achieved during my PhD. So, for example, I did start what we call the optimization group webinars with some friends, colleagues slash friends at the time during my PhD. It was because we really were passionate, for example, about mathematical optimization, and our broader team encouraged us to make this a group and make it a set of webinars. And that's what I'm talking about, is about being encouraged to do things, being supported to do whatever you want to do. So that's an example of that, for example. And then I continued edit and did my fellowship. This is a nice example of what I was saying earlier, which is that I was sent that. Someone sent me actually, oh, there is this opportunity. That's what I was talking about. Send people opportunities. Tell them, is this something you would be interested in doing? Because I wouldn't have done it. I'm almost sure I wouldn't have done it, to be honest, if I wouldn't have known that it was an opportunity. How would I have applied? Um, this was funded by PSRC. I have forgotten to write that down, but yeah. So then I did my fellowship, which is also an example of me being supported to actually do it. And now I'm in my role as a research associate at Newcastle University in the Supergen Energy Networks Hub. Again, during this time, things that I have achieved are because an interesting part is not only being supported, but also feeling that you can express if something you feel is not 100% okay in the topics that you're working on. So here, for example, I don't remember, it was between fellowship and RA, it was between these years, I don't remember where, that I said that I wanted to work on projects that had industry partners in them. And my broader team indeed supported that, and projects that came then related to that, they did tell me, do you want to work on this? And it was difficult, but I said yes, I will, because that's what I wanted to do at the time. I felt I wanted a change. I felt I didn't want to be more only with academic partners. I felt I wanted to tackle that new thing for me. So it's send people the opportunities to be aware of the opportunities, and also to have environments that if you feel that you want something different, like I did at the time, to be able to actually express it, and at the same time that this is listened in the right way, that it's not, I mean, understood that I don't like my job. No, it's just that I want to explore something new, something different. And I was so happy I was supported with that, to be honest, because that helped me a lot afterwards with having so many collaborators. I have experience with many different industries at the time, and NSME, small companies, catapults, many universities, and I think that annoyance I had at the time is what gave me that, and I'm very proud of that and really glad. Um, and then also, one of the most recent things I did I was seconded last was spring to summer for 3 months at Ofgem, which is the energy regulator for Great Britain. That was also something that I wanted to do. I wanted to have an experience in another organization, and thankfully, I could express that. I could express it, and to do that, I cannot explain and express how much support I've had, because obviously I would be away for these months. I had to devote time before that to actually apply for funding, um, and and also to even start the idea of moving to another organization for a period of time. So I can say that that's also something that I think I did because I was supported and because I was in an environment that it was open for me to do something. Um, and I can say this was a fantastic experience for me. So that's why I'm saying I'm so happy that, for example, I managed to say it and achieve that. And then I've put other adventures to also say, be positive. I don't know what that could be, but yeah. So this is me recently actually talking. This is in Athens, in the National Technical University, presenting some work I did in my secondment. So yeah, this was in December. And then based on all that, even though there's many things I think we can say are fruits of when EDI, when you actually feel that you are supported, when you feel included. I've tried and distilled it down to a few. So one of them, in my opinion, from my perspective at least, to feel that you're included, it's to actually be supported, feel valued. And I've underlined, I think it's important when you feel you're a key part of a team, and I mean that. I think the way you value yourself, I think, is very important. That's when you will feel, in my opinion, really that there is inclusivity, that you feel you are a key part, no matter your title or your role, um, or your discipline in a team. I think that's very important. The other thing is to, as much as possible, I think, minimize biases that we have, because I think that is what limits our decisions for other people, but also ourselves. So I think because we also have biases for ourselves. So it's thinking, oh, I cannot do this because of my XYZ characteristic. You've put automatically a block to yourself, even though maybe you've blocked yourself, even though maybe you can do it. So that's a tricky one, in my opinion, because that's the point of it. It's unconscious. But I think it's important to understanding as much as possible. The other thing is, in my opinion, a benefit is to actually explore your full potential. Feel free to do it. Um, because if you feel that you cannot, because of the team, as I said, you're in, yourself, other, whatever this is that is blocking you, then you won't be able to actually explore your full potential. And I think that is, in my opinion, one of the beauties of EDI, to explore our full potentials, um, beyond what we thought, challenge ourselves. And lastly is to feel that encouragement, have positivity, not feel you're blocked, and feel you're independent to make moves in your career, whatever these are, and explore your own self, as benefits I think that EDI can bring, from my perspective at least. Thank you very much.